So we've just finished the first test of the 2023 Husqvarna FS450. Quite impressed with the test itself. The bike was only 0.7 of a second slower than our 2022 race bikes, which have got a lot of development put into them. You know, our 22 bikes have DVRs, a Thomason tuned engine, obviously the MTR swing arm. So, you know, quite a bit of development's gone into those bikes. So to only be 0.7 seconds off on a pretty stock 2023 FS450 is quite impressive. The things we had changed before we even started were we'd taken the air forks off and put Öhlins cartridges in, because we know the limitations of the air forks. The front brake we'd changed to a 15 RCS Brembo master cylinder and P4 Brembo caliper, a PFM demountable disc system and a 16-inch front wheel to run our Michelin tyres on. So we're running Michelin front and rear, which we do in the Spanish Championship. Other than that, the bike was in completely standard trim. The only things we've done are add some protection, the Protoscopy exhaust protector, some SM Project front fork sliders. I've fabricated up some peg sliders. The pegs are still too big, so I've got on order from Spider Off-Road some supermoto pegs, so they'll be like shorter and higher, so that gives a bit more ground clearance. Also, one thing we noticed as well, the rear axle is only, I think it's 22 millimeters, so it's smaller than the 22 bikes, and therefore I've just fabricated up some rear axle sliders, but we're waiting for some axle blocks that we've ordered from Spider Off-Road again. They should be coming soon, so we can fit those on. But yeah, that's it. Otherwise it was in complete standard trim. The rider said the sensation of riding it was different to the 22 bike. He said that the bike felt a lot lower and it kind of wanted to roll a bit more. We think most of that might be the fact that we hadn't actually set up the rear shock yet. So maybe it was sitting a bit low on the rear, and also the swinging arm is the standard swing arm. So he's on his 22 race bike, he was running the MTR swinging arm. So again, that has a different characteristic for the bike in terms of handling. But yeah, quite impressive. The bike was pretty quick. You could feel that the engine lacked power compared to the 22 bike, but then we know we've got to do a lot of work on this engine yet, you know, to get it fully up to spec. The quick shifter didn't seem to work too well. That's now Husqvarna and KTM have done away with the they basically put a quick shifter system inside the gearbox, whereas before you'd buy an aftermarket shifter with a button here. We felt the button's a bit better at the moment, but we're hoping that the actual mechanism maybe is a bit stiff and will bed itself in. The bike itself has only done 2 hours so far, so maybe after about 3-4 hours it might have loosened up a little bit, which normally results in the bike producing a bit more power, and things like the gearbox, the shifting mechanism are all a little bit smoother. But we'll see how we progress with that. So now we're going to go test it again tomorrow, which you can do in Spain this time of year. It's, you know, Boxing Day in Spain, but the sun's out. It's about 20 degrees, so we'll be out testing tomorrow again at Gas 74. And the basic changes we've made this time are to the rear shock. We've just made some adjustments there to hopefully make the rear end feel a bit more stable. And we're also running a Vortex ECU, primarily just to get some data, obviously to see if it's a performance gain, but so we can hook it up to the AIM Solo 2DL, so we can get a load of data off the engine and just really see how we're running compared to our 22 bikes. You know, we back-to-back test them, one against the other. And by doing that, we can then, you know, look on the computer, look at the data and see what changes we need to make to get the bike going even quicker. This is the data we got from the last test, or obviously lines and squiggles, but they do mean something. It's just a case of looking at them long enough. But yeah, that's where we stand at the moment. So hopefully tomorrow we'll know a bit more about these new bikes, and we'll keep you posted.